steps up. Huntley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history. Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio. We got a whole new crew here. Johnny Mariano, been a friend of mine for years. He brought his nephew in, Marco, and he brought his dad, Mike, in. So we got the first ever father-son team again with an uncle.
Wow.
We never had this happen.
Wow.
It's Marco's first time. Look how good I look and the camera work Marco's doing. I'm checking the monitor. No, that's good. I can't get my Facebook, but we'll get that up in a bit. All right. Hey, we're in a municipal building in downtown Bethel Park. Police station's to the right. Upstairs is the library. Mayor's office is an admin around here, so you can find us right here. We've been doing this show for 11 years. October 11, 2011 started. I say we got over 800 shows. And thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between in greater Pittsburgh area, including the city of Pittsburgh. And thanks for our Facebook likes. We're somewhere around 6,900 likes. So we appreciate that. If you're watching us, I can't see who's watching the show right now. It might show up. Hey, Ralph just popped up.
That's my man.
Hey, Ralph. Yeah, so I appreciate that. He said hi to everybody. Pete Kasich's watching our show, our friend from Bill Boyce's. So you remember him? Yeah, that's your man. All right, thanks for watching us, guys. I got my promos. This is a big test for Marco. Let's see what he can do here. Just bear with us. This is live TV. Smoking Jim's not eating, so you don't have to watch that. Oh, did I say that? Yeah, just try to get the top part right there. If you get it focused so it's centered with me. All right, Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors our show with an XL pepperoni pizza and a steak hoagie cut in 6 cuts so we can share and not fight over it. Frank Fanera owns Olive Oil's. He had my pizza and hoagie with plates and napkins ready. He goes, don't touch anything, I got you. I go, this is the first time ever. So again, Pittsburgh Sportsline's Olive Oil's pizza and hoagie, first time they were ready for me in the past year. So we got everything going on. Check them out, 412-831-1900. Hillcrest Shopping Center, 5 minutes from our studio, easy to find. They're right near Pizza Hut if you need a reference point. All right, next up, let's see what Marco does on this one with Dad Mike's help. Here goes the father-son team. Let's see what they come up with. Just get a little closer. Closer, okay. That's, we end each show with Stay Joey Strong in honor of an 8-year-old boy, Joey Fabus, who died of a dreaded brain cancer called DIPG. And it's a death sentence. When you're diagnosed with it, you die within a year. He died before his 9th birthday 8 years ago. His family lost 2 children, and they started the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. It's a 401 or 501c3. And hey, thanks to Tim Davis watching us. That's our man. Chief's watching us. We appreciate all of you that are watching. It's not showing up. But they started this foundation, 501c3. You can donate as little as $1. You can donate your time at their events. Their biggest event is the Joey Fabus Warrior Against DIPG 5K 1-mile run walk at the high school every third week in September. They raise their most money there, and great turnout with people dressed as superheroes. So check them out. You'll hear at the end of the show, please stay Joey Strong. All right, next up, another 501c3. Let's get this right now here, Marco. The Marco and Mike team is on this. Let's see how it turns out. A little closer, if you can. You can even, yeah, that's better. What we're highlighting is the B, and B smiling is Bennett. He was a guy that had many health problems, was handicapped, had 2 kidney transplants. His last one was by his dad, Dean. Well, he passed away at 16 and a half a couple years ago. They started Always Be Smiling because he always smiled and was always happy, even though he had tremendous health handicaps. And he just was a positive, happy-go-lucky kid, and they were so happy to have him last till 16 and a half years old. So they started Always Be Smiling. They do local events on Montour Trail and in the local area. They also have fundraisers, and they provide money for kids, families that need kidney transplants. They help defer some of their costs and pay for things. So check them out. 400 some friends of mine have liked them, and we boosted them up over 1,000 last year. They thank every one of you, and some of my friends are still trickling in liking it. If you're watching the show for the first time, please like the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation and Always Be Smiling. Don't forget Always Be Smiling. Great young man. All right, next up, another 501c3. We're on fire here. Let's see what Marco and Mike do on this one. So far, 2 out of 2. Or no, 3 out of 3 they were. Yeah. Johnny Mariano is watching us on Facebook while he's running the control room. He said, "Where can I find a Smokin' Jim bobblehead figure?" Let me explain. My best friend is a natural bobblehead at the corner there. Just watch Smokin' Jim. When he starts eating pizza and hoagie, he'll be bobbling and gobbling. So check it out. All right, great shot, Marco and Mike. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. 2600 South Park Road, red and white trolley. You can't miss it. They've remodeled the 1905 schoolhouse from the basement. How about they're even talking, this will be for Smokin' Jim, a non-drinker, they're going to open up a speakeasy in the basement. Wow. So they're going to have booze and entertainment there, and coming attractions.
Entertainment.
Yes. So we'll look for Jimmy's Sweeties coming at you 10 times a day on Jim Frazier, not his government name, Facebook page. But they've remodeled the whole place. They have a dance studio. They have an artist. They have a library. They have military uniforms. They have old-time radios. So they got a lot of eclectic things. They do weddings. They do fundraisers. They do graduations, communions, you name it, they do it. And my favorite tea shop is Reginald's Coffee. They have roasted beans from all over the world, and they have a roaster in their shop. People tell me their coffee's better than Starbucks and anybody else, even Dunkin' Donuts. They say it's better than them. I've had 100 or more friends tell me that. So check out Reginald's Coffee. Say hi to Matt and Julie for me. All right. Dave Cable likes to have fun at my expense. We'll see what Marco can do in this. Little tip, Marco and Mike, try to get my smiling face in the middle. I think you're doing it. Just a little while. That's it, perfectly. I'm a little nervous here with all this.
Don't worry, you look good.
Okay, I feel better. You know just what to say, Jim.
My job.
I got Ed McMahon and I got the yes man, Jim Ellen Bogan. I can't go wrong. I got 2 bookends here.
And you got comic relief to your left.
Yes, we got comic, never stopping. Chief goes, "Can you or Master Zhang show Smokin' Jim how to chop some boards?" All we can do is show you how to chomp some chicken. He got Kentucky Fried Chicken.
The only thing he's going to chop is suey.
Yeah, well, he probably doesn't like it. Too much vegetables in
I'm
there.
going to ask Herschel Walker to teach me how to do it. He's a black.
Yeah.
Well, he's a good liar like you. Because I don't care what color you are. I just go by what you say. And Smoking Jim has 11 years of history.
Hey, he's an honored member of law enforcement.
All right.
Badge.
I want you for BPTV. You can be like Marco. His dad is the newest volunteer, Mike. And then we got Johnny Mariano and his son Michael will be here again. And you can volunteer. If you're in high school and you want to learn about audio, video, doing your own shows, do TikTok, do TV, you name it, social media, come to Dave Cable, call him 412-831-3304. Tell them you heard the talking machine say, we need volunteers. So that's what we need, folks. Thanks for listening. Next up, another 501c3. We'll see what Mike, I'm moving Mike up to first, and Marco. Is that all right, Johnny? Give the okay. When? Whoa, that moved up pretty fast. Wanted. Bethel Park groups and organizations who need money. Bethel Park Community Foundation has grant money for you from $100 to $5,000. So check it out and get an app at, the 3 W's, bpcf.org. Get an application. We meet once every 2 months, and you can apply with your group. We've given out over $1 million in 26 years, and we have money for you. Not Smoking Jim. I know I'm picking on him because it's true. We have no money for him. All right, one of my friends here in Bethel Park, I won't say how old he is, but he's older than me, and his name's Dick Kraft. He gave me a special application. We have Wreaths Across America. And you can get this online. We'll see what they pull it up. No, that's pretty good. Yeah, leave it out like that. I'm going to pull it away for a second. I got to read some of this. Bethel Park Historical Society is sponsoring the 2nd annual Wreaths Across America event at Bethel Cemetery, right across the street from me on Bethel Church Road. That's the First Presbyterian Church, founded in 1776. It's to honor our local veterans. We're bringing this national wreath, which has greens and a red bow, to the event in Bethel Park so we can remember and honor our local American heroes and teach the next generations the true cost of freedom. Join us at Bethel Cemetery, Bethel Church Road, and wreath laying December 17th, 11 a.m. Consider sponsoring a Wreath the Place. There are 600 veteran graves. Last year we did that, plus about 300 more. It's only $15 a wreath, and you can get them. You can call 412-400-9192, and you can ask for Lisa, and it's 412-400-9192. Let me just show it again. And Dick, I hope you appreciate how I presented it, and then I'm going to test Marco on one more thing. We got the order form, so get ready, Mike. We got the order form. You can get this online. And it's the 3 W's, WREATHACROSSAMERICA.org, PA0627P. You'll just have to watch our show about 7 more times to get that, because I'm not repeating it. All right, how are we doing there? Thank you, Marco and Mike. Johnny, thanks for the great work there. We're going to move on right now. We do what's on our mind, so we're going to test the camera, guys. We're going to do what's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Here comes the green.
you got to see Levine. Caught one in front of the white cornerback. But
Where's he at?
The last one left.
How many interceptions did they drop last year?
Oh my goodness, you could say that.
4.
You know, I keep hearing that rookie quarterbacks can't win. Well, how did Duck go 5-3? How did Big Ben go 15-1? How did Russell Wilson pass for 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns and only 10 interceptions, and ran for 500 yards, took his team to a playoff? How did Dak Prescott pass for 3,700 yards, 23 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, 6 rushing touchdowns? How did Justin Herbert pass for 4,500 yards, 31 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions? Cam Newton, 4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 700 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns. This is the most talented Pittsburgh Steelers team I've seen since 1979. They have Super Bowl talent up and down the roster, but they can't win because they don't have a coach or a quarterback. Right now, Kenny Pickett stinks, Trubisky stinks, Coach Tomlin stinks. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-6, and I blame Pickett, Trubisky, and Tomlin.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You gave me your top 10 list of rookie quarterbacks. How many quarterbacks have been playing for the last 40 years?
Most.
No, how many? I need a number.
Well, let me just.
There's 32 teams.
Well, let me just answer this.
No, he won't.
Let me just answer this. Terry Bradshaw played on the worst team in the history of the National Football League. Peyton Manning played on one of the worst teams in the history
That's 2 quarterbacks.
of football. This is a championship team. All that, and I don't blame the rookie because he ain't got no business playing if he's not ready. I blame the coaching staff for not getting a quarterback that's ready to right this ship. They're the highest paid defense in all of football. They got talent all over the place. They're as good as that team that went to the Super Bowl in 2006.
Smoking
this
Jim,
roster.
I just want to thank you for practicing all that knowledge for like 4 days. But I asked a simple question. You've given me now 12 quarterbacks.
Your question.
Well, here's why you didn't understand. Here's all you can see. I'm telling you we have a great team. Well, he's been wrong before. So the bottom line is we've had thousands of quarterbacks come to the league as rookies.
Yes.
And you only gave me 10 that were any
It's only
good.
a 1 hour show.
No, but you only gave me 10. I'll give you an extra 5 minutes to give me 100. I rest my case. We're going to move on to Chip Hayner. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Alan, and welcome back, everybody.
Thanks for coming back.
What's on my mind? You know, the problems with the Steelers are many. Quarterback isn't the problem with the team. I do believe that it's getting pretty clear that the offensive coordinator is not part of the solution. He's part of the problem. Also, I put more blame on the players than I do the coaches, because the coaches are out on the field missing blocks, running the wrong routes, throwing the ball to the people in the other jerseys. That isn't on the coaches. That's on the players themselves. I believe that the team may be one of the most talented Steeler teams of the last 20 years. However, they don't pay attention to the details. They don't stay late. They come in, they think they're going to practice for 2 hours, 3 days a week, and show up on Sunday and perform like all pros. And it just doesn't work that way. The people that are the best prepared are the ones that win games. And obviously, the Steelers are not the best prepared team
Chip,
on the field.
I got to disagree with you partly. You said about being best prepared. Nobody complains that we have one of the slowest starting teams. And I don't want to use your line. It's because the players aren't ready. I've been told that coaches can pump up players to make them perform at the beginning of games. I haven't seen that. So if all the players have a bad attitude.
But that being said, you can lead a horse to water. You can't necessarily make it drink.
Wow.
The players have to put the work in themselves.
Yeah, but here's what
nobody can manufacture that for them.
Well, I got to go with, you're a positive guy. When they tell you can't do something, you do it. When you tell Tomlin you're not doing a good job, he gives you the rubber got to hit the road, the standard's the standard, and we're working on these things.
And I wouldn't think that for a minute that Mike Tomlin's stubborn.
You got me on that. I love that.
Well, let's leave that at that.
But I just put it up there that you're right with the players, because my dad's famous for telling me when he goes, if the coach, I don't care how good or bad he is, if he doesn't have the horses. Smoking Jim just said you had the horses, and we're not doing it because they don't care.
Well,
this is how football is.
That's on them. But
my point is, why are you even a coach if it all depends on the players? I got to ask you that.
Well, I mean, look
How
at
can a coach not be responsible for some of their
well, I
actions?
mean, look at
Who coached you up?
How many players are responsible for a coach's success? Talk about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. He's a below-average coach when he isn't coaching
You
Tom
mean
Brady.
Belichick?
No, Mike Tomlin, when he's not coaching
A Hall of Famer, future Hall of
Big
Famer.
Ben, he's a below-average coach. I mean, so the players do make the coach. Good point. So that being said, next, what's up on my mind?
Oh, I didn't know you had more.
Yeah, the World Series starts on Friday. The Yankees choked again in the ALCS. And it will be the Astros against the Philadelphia Phillies starting at Minute Maid Park Friday and Saturday. Games 1 and 2. Games 3, 4, and 5, if necessary, will be played in Philadelphia Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. I think it's going to be a really enjoyable series. And I do believe that if the series does go 7 games, I look for the Philadelphia Phillies to bring home the title.
Whoa.
But I really have no skin in this game because for the last 5 years, I've been very much anti-Houston Astros because they legitimately cheated to win the 2017 World Series championship. And Rob Manfred has absolutely no spine. He should have vacated the 2017 World Series champion. There should have been no champion for that year. Should have made them give back their rings, but he didn't do that. A fair number of the players that were involved in the cheating scheme no longer play for the Astros. The manager of the Houston Astros is now the manager for the Detroit Tigers,
Yeah.
and his bench coach is the manager for the Boston Red Sox. So, right now, Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker has been one of my least favorite managers in Major League Baseball because he's the only person I know that can turn a 2.5-hour baseball game into a 5-hour marathon by changing pitches every other batter. Thank God they changed the rules where he has to
That's
keep a
one of the
pitcher in for
reasons.
3 batters.
Yeah.
But that being said, he's been in Major Leagues a long time. He has won over 2,000 games as a manager in the major leagues. It would not be such a terrible thing to see somebody whose mentor was Hank Aaron when he was a rookie finally win a world championship. So, a part of me would not mind seeing him win a championship. And also the Philadelphia Phillies, their Pennsylvania team. After listening to a couple of interviews with Neil Walker, who played with Bryce Harper,
Yeah.
and I found how dedicated Bryce Harper is to the game and the work that he puts in, it would not break my heart to see him win a championship. But if the series goes anything less than 7 games, the Astros are going to take it. The Astros, by far, were the best team in the American League this year, hands down. They've got the pitching staff to do it. But right now, the Philadelphia Phillies are hot. And if you give them a chance, they could surprise the world.
Well, Chip, I agree with some of what you said, but you proved my thing about a coach. He's won 2,000 games, and you didn't mention the players helping him get the 2,000
No,
there.
there you go.
So now I see an exception of the rule.
You were laying and waiting on me on that, right? Yeah.
No, I knew the numbers would come out.
Far
No,
be
but
it from
here,
Al to get the last word.
no,
in.
I didn't. Here, Chief said, I'll give him the last word. He said, good call, Chip. Despite what Smokin' Jim says about cheaters should be more severely punished. And I added that part about Smokin' Jim. Okay, and then here, Tony from Chick-fil-A, they're still working on his building on Washington Road. In your early years, Smokin' Jim, what boxing match did you listen to on the radio? He won't tell us his age, Tony, as you know. So I think his first match was on TV. So who was it? Who was your first boxing match?
First match was Ollie Frazier, 71.
There you go, Tony. Jim? You
My
raising your
first
hand?
match?
Yeah, go ahead.
Frazier and Ali.
Yeah.
I actually,
Yeah.
in 11th grade, we had to write a paper who we thought we were going to win.
Get
I was the
out.
only one in the class that wrote Frazier.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, wow.
Got an A
Chip,
for it, too.
You got a
I remember as a small child
okay.
when Ali shocked the world. No, when Cassius Clay shocked the world and beat Sonny Liston.
Right. Well, I'm a little bit older than you. I got a few years on you, And I remember my dad like watching boxing all the time on weekends and stuff. And I remember him saying, watch this fight against Sonny Liston. I remember as a little bit older than you.
Well, I'll tell you what, back in the late 70s, early 80s, Friday nights on HBO, they used to have fights on. And I saw some of the greatest fighters of all time. We saw Roberto Duran as a young man, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
One of the best fights I ever saw was Alexis Arguello and Aaron Pryor.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
that was
and then there was the rematch, and Panama Lewis juiced his
yeah.
his
Tim
water
Davis, good fan of ours, he said, agree with Chip stripping the Astros of the title for cheating. Let me tell all of you to get the last word in. I agree with stripping the Astros. Here's what I ask. What would Judge Landis have done? And for all of you that don't know Judge Landis, he
The
got
Astros
rid
would
of
have been banned from baseball for life.
That's my point. And the owner. And look what he did to the Black Sox when people say they never caught Barry Bonds or anybody cheating and other people. They never convicted the Black Sox of anything in court. So how did they get banned? My hero, Shoeless Joe Jackson. I'm done with that. Dan Duff, thanks for watching. Who else did I miss? I'm not sure. All right. We got to go to What's on Your Mind. Jim Ellen Bogan. He's filling in for Nick Callis, who's still going to have his VIP segments.
Well, before I say anything, I got to give a shout out to my granddaughter, where she's a cheerleader at Cannon McMillan. Got to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
What did she pay you?
I paid her.
That's what I got it at. I wanted to get it at.
My daughter my daughter could raise money for anything. Trust me.
Thanks for sharing that. You want to mention her name? Your daughter?
My daughter Linda. No,
Yeah.
she's
Okay.
she already runs her own neighborhood.
Okay. Now people know who she is.
Right. Anyway, what's on my mind? The Steelers are on my mind.
Okay.
3 things: clock, individuality, and coaching. Clock. I am so sick of people saying, oh, well, he's a rookie, he's this and that. We're not talking being paid chump change here. These guys are making millions of dollars.
Yes, sir.
They need to look at that clock the same way that the bomb squad watches the clock on the timer of the bomb.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good point.
That has to be in the back of their mind at all times. He made a rookie mistake and he threw that. Which brings me to coaching. That kid should have been talked to before that play.
Yes.
You can't let a rookie just go out there and just let him sow his oats when there's games on the line.
Yes, sir.
We could have won the New England game. We could have won the Miami game.
Could have won
One
against the Jets as well.
And we should have won the Jets.
That's right.
All because of nobody talk. You talk to the kid, you settle him down. See, one thing people forget: these are 20-some-year-old kids behind them helmets.
Yeah.
And they're going to do stupid stuff like 20-some-year-old kids. You got to talk to them.
Hey, we all did that except for smoking.
And settle them. And I blame that on the coaches. They don't talk to these kids.
I got a guy on my team, Jim.
And they allow this individuality exist on this team. I look at these receivers, I think, are very talented.
Yes, sir.
But I think what's happening is they want the ball so bad they're competing, but competing in a way that's not team-like. They're
With each other.
Exactly. They're
Yeah.
competing with each other. And if I see it,
I see it.
exactly.
I believe that a lot of these young receivers just simply aren't running the right routes. They don't have the discipline that you need to survive in the NFL.
Good point, Chip.
Exactly.
I agree.
I grew up with coaches like Bud Grant, Tom Landry, George Halas. It's like my kids. I love my kids, but I'm not their friend. They got enough friends. I'm their dad, and if I see them doing something wrong, I'm going to tell them.
Did you ever yell at your kids?
Yes,
Did they still love you and grow up in despite of
they
that?
did. The only consequence was me changing the things on the door after they slammed them.
Okay. The hinges.
But that's your job. His job, their job
I
is to
agree with
coach,
you.
not to
Yeah.
throw high fives at them.
Yeah.
And I think that's Jim said it perfect. There's a lot of talent on this team, but there's nobody to gel it. So
well,
they're all out
since
there
you're
doing
talking
their-
about the talent, how do we have the highest paid defense, and mostly it's for 3 players? Now, we had 4 defensive backs that were injured. I thought they played great in place of all of them. And I said last week that just Minka should come back.
See, I think one of the things that the Steeler team is missing, that the Steeler teams of the past had, veteran leadership.
Great
There's
point.
none of- there's
You've been
none of
talking
it.
about that for years.
There's none of that. Who is the leader on the offense? There isn't one.
Hold it. Who's the
Okay.
captain?
You know,
Trubisky.
yeah, well, he's on the bench.
Who
He's holding the
makes-
clipboard.
here.
He's holding the clipboard. Cam Hayward, playing like an all-pro. He's the leader of that team. Why isn't he straightening out the people and getting them in the right place? When the guys are in places where they shouldn't be, why isn't he dressing them down on the field?
See, that, like, everybody's down on the offensive line.
Right.
Every great offensive line had a guy that anchored that team. The great New England Patriot teams under Brady,
Yeah.
Mankins, he anchored the new guys, but there's no anchor on this team.
Right.
Go buy somebody that can anchor that team.
Amen.
Yeah,
You
but
can't bring in a second street. They're all over the place.
No, but they spent all their money on the defense, and they let the offense go. And guess what? T.J. Watt gets hurt. Now, sure, he's a game changer, but we don't have much happening after that.
Exactly.
How can we were terrible on the run, 32nd in the league on the run, and we're on pace the same way.
Well, they had $40 million under the cap, but Omar Khan wouldn't know a football player if he walked through the door.
I disagree with you to this day because they kept him in. They even moved him up.
Yeah, he see you walk through the door. You look like a football player from about 40 years ago.
Their draft next year,
Yeah.
first round should be an offensive tackle. Second round, a defensive end. Third round, an offensive guard. Fourth round, a defensive tackle. They should just stay on those lines.
I agree.
Well, they got away from being traditional Steelers as an ownership. I blame Art Rooney, the owner, the current owner. It's the leadership you have or lack of.
If Cam Hayward had one other guy that could rush the passer,
Yeah.
he got 3 guys on him every play, and he still chasing a receiver all the way downfield.
I was pointing that out to my son. He goes, look, he's double teamed. I goes, you see the last 2 plays, he was triple teamed.
Nobody in Bethel Park, including me, likes Cam Hayward because he left Monroeville, who could have played for Gateway, but he moved out of town, and we don't.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Smoking.
Him and his brother.
And he went to
Disclaimer.
Ohio State.
Disclaimer. Smoking Jim's opinions are only his own.
We don't support him.
We don't. He doesn't speak for me or anybody else in Bethel Park or this panel. We've already disagreed with him numerous times.
Marco agreed
And-
with me.
Marco's grinning because he said he's one of the funniest guys in media.
But just in closing on the Steelers here, like everybody is all wrapped up into pointing the finger of blame at who's
Yeah.
responsible, but nobody's doing anything to fix what's broken.
That's the point. of
Okay,
this.
that shows me a severe lack of leadership.
And responsibility.
And you could take it from the coaching staff to the veteran leadership that doesn't exist on the team.
I do.
But it's pretty apparent.
Here's how I fixed it. Before I came here, I bet the house on Philly.
Oh, incidentally, we should buy some of those wreaths for the Steelers after which one survived Philly.
They're only $15 a wreath.
You want to hear the craziest thing? The Steelers are going to beat Philadelphia on Sunday because that's what they do. Nobody expected them to do anything against Tampa. Everybody was expecting us to beat
Don't say
Miami.
that. I can't afford to lose this.
Yeah,
bet.
Yes, you
yeah.
can.
The Steelers are going to beat them by a field goal as time runs out. Mark my words.
Well, Smoking Jim's, I think he's only lost 5 weeks of betting. How many weeks have they done? That's what's happened. But no, hey, thanks
What
for
is the Eagle line anyway
10 I got it for 10.5.
10.5. Yeah, I was heard it was in double digits.
in Philly?
Well, let me give you the disclaimer on the gambling disclaimer. If you haven't started betting, don't start just because Smoking Jim thinks like he's a winner. Last year, he had 10 mortal locks. That means you bet the house, even if you don't have a house.
Now he's living in a cardboard
Right.
box.
Well,
Down by the river.
here, let me give you the final stat why you shouldn't bet. He lost 7 of those last year. 7. So how do you recoup 7 houses.
Double or nothing.
Okay, I'll
So
make
don't
it all
start
back on the
betting.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, don't start betting, but if you do bet, and this is only a little advisement, don't bet a lot, but bet the opposite of Smoking Jim. I guarantee at the end of a regular season, 17 games, you'll be a winner. Maybe only 9 and 8, but you'll be a winner, unlike Smoking. We haven't ever seen a bottom line with him or know what he does. He just bets $250 every time you talk about a bet. So we'll go with there. All right, we're going to move on. I got to talk what's on my mind. I got to echo what you guys are saying about the Steelers, and we can criticize them all they want, but they're rebuilding, so I didn't expect much at all. And I didn't like a lot of their strategy. I agree with my new buddy sitting in for Nick that they needed offensive linemen. And I'm not a Pickett fan yet because it took him 6 years to become great in college, and he showed some skills. But like I keep saying, when people are rookies, they're a rookie for the reason. It's the first time they deal with speed like this on every play. Preseason doesn't mean anything to me. They hardly play regulars or whatever else. But I have to go with, when you're in an organization, you got billion-dollar companies, you got local businesses, who owns them? And like you say, people need guidance in different things. That's part of their responsibility. The workers are supposed to work. I work with bad workers, and we had great papers, and the Post-Gazette was making tons of money. Now they're almost out of business. So I can see it, and I believe your point, Chip, about players are responsible, because when I played football and baseball, I was responsible. A coach couldn't fire me up any better than me. When I wanted to pitch, I wanted to strike everybody out. When I played center, if you were 350, I was going to knock you back. That's what I thought. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. My helmet was damaged, though. I don't know about my brain, but CTE hasn't affected me like Smoking Jim. So I know these points out there.
We all have it.
And yeah, well, I know you do. And
Well, I
Chip
know
may
they used to tell us
suffer.
to tackle with our heads in them days till somebody decided after they ruined our generation, oh, you shouldn't do that. So we're all walking around like this.
No, those are the points. And I do believe that players should try their hardest on every play. Do I see that with the Steelers? One guy stands out, Minka. And I never would have thought it'd be him, because look at how he left Miami because he wasn't happy with management because the owner wanted them to lose. So now we found out that was the truth. Sorry I slipped that in, but these things happen. And look at Cam Hayward. Smoking Jim thought he was done, and he's played better than ever the last couple years. So the guy can inspire others, like some are quiet leaders, but like Chip said, we need somebody to tell these guys off on the field, make a better play, and linemen stand in front of somebody so Najee can run. And you know how I was harping about Najee in the offensive line. Did you notice when he took the Herman Munster steel-plated boot off that now he can run and jump and turn? What did he do the first 5 games? None of that. So I'm hopeful there. Have I seen the offensive line, not to criticize everything, have I seen them improve a little bit? Yes, they have. And I noticed that. Yeah. But they need more help. And just put Warren in and let him run. Let Jalen Warren run all day long because he doesn't stop. And when do you see a young guy just power into people and there's no hole? He's pushing our own linemen forward. And Najee's not doing that, so I see the difference. A little bit more
creativity in our offensive play calling, because running on first down, running on second down, and throwing an incomplete 3-yard pass and third down just isn't getting it done.
Oh, to Chip, I haven't watched football much, but you mean people could figure out what they're doing?
After about the 6th or 7th time.
Chip?
I just got to say that I don't understand the mentality of throwing the ball and running for the first down. 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. If you watch, the whole middle was wide open on some of these.
They don't attack the middle of the field.
What happened to the slot? Use your slot. I don't understand what they're trying to do.
We got all these receivers. Just run them all to the middle. Right? All right, enough of mine. We're going to come back with Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. We're going to test Marco and Mike on this. Can they focus on that large gentleman on the end of the table? Try to suck that in a little, buddy.
Wait, what are you talking? Oh.
The other Jim. We got bookends here.
soccer machine. And I tell you what, just to get back to what Jim said and what Chip said.
Hold it. This is Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
This is all fact. It's all fact.
I'll bet you. I'll bet against it.
I think Freiermuth should catch about 10 passes a game. That guy is incredible when he's healthy. But I tell you what, Mike, I'm one of the few people in the city of Pittsburgh history that's seen Roberto Clemente's 3,000 hit.
We don't believe you. No verification.
For the Immaculate Reception in '72.
No verification.
And here's the Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
I can't wait.
I tell you what, I'm excited. I tell you what, Franco Harris had just made the greatest play of all time. The next week, the undefeated Miami Dolphins comes to Three Rivers Stadium. Back then, you didn't have home field advantage. You had to earn it. And I tell you what, we had their number. Even though Chuck Noll had a hard time beating Don Shula, and Miami Dolphins was my favorite team, even though they only had 3 black players on the team. I still love them. I was a Larry Zonka fan, brother. And I tell you what, when they faked that punt, and you could see it if you were at the stadium like me, you'd seen L.C. Greenwood and them guys running down, and Seipel just started running behind them. And then Don Shula did something. We thought we'd get the ball back. Don Shula did something that nobody did before that time. You never give up points. Now everybody does it. He took a safety. We couldn't believe it. He gave us 2 points.
How smart was that?
Don Shula was a smart guy. I'll tell you what, he had some good steaks too. But that's the Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. We lost to the undefeated team,
Chip,
maybe in my opinion, the greatest football team of all time.
Chip got a question, and I got a question.
No, I got another fact.
Are they the greatest?
No, the day after that game,
Yeah.
Roberto Clemente died.
Yeah, very
man,
sad.
oh.
Smoking Jim, I got a question for you. They had the 50-year anniversary. Now, don't you think the 50 years is a great thing?
Yes.
What was it that
was
night?
terrible.
I never saw
was
anything
terrible.
so bad in my life honoring.
Almost-
It was nice to see Zonka out
Almost
there.
had tears in my
No,
eyes.
they had 40% of the stadium was Steeler fans.
I know.
Did you see poor Greasy? He almost fainted.
Yeah.
In midfield. I'm like, that broke my heart.
I just wondered if you'd like that
was
anniversary.
Morris there? I didn't see Mark.
No. You can't miss him. He was one of those 3
He was
players.
snorting the
You
goal
wanna-
line.
Too bad we don't have their offensive line.
Oh,
Larry
Hey, Jeb,
Little,
you know,
those guys.
the thing I loved the most about that team? Don Shula would line up Zonka, Kick, and Morris.
Yes.
And let everybody know from the 10-yard line, we're running and see if you can stop
and they
us.
couldn't
And
stop
no, they were amazing. those
who else
three.
was like that? Vince
Green Bay
Lombardi.
Packers, Green Bay Packers.
Vince Lombardi.
Power sweep.
Left or
Jim
right?
Taylor.
Left or right? with
Paul
Gronk.
Hornung.
Whatever happened to two
My
backs?
favorite was Donnie Anderson.
Oh,
Number 44,
yeah.
The high knees.
Whatever happened to 2 backs in the backfield?
Yeah, what
Sometimes
happened to
3.
that? What happened?
Everybody wants 2 tight ends now.
We're asking all of you, what happened to that? We're going to go to trivia time with Chip Hayner.
Welcome
There's a
back,
little pause.
everybody.
Little pause.
Little pause.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And in honor of the start of the World Series, which starts on Friday, I want to talk about on Trivia Time tonight probably the greatest event that ever happened in a World Series game, and it's not what people would expect from me.
Whoa.
I'm going to go all the way back to October the 8th, 1956.
Whoa.
Game 5 of the 1956 World Series, Don Larson pitched a perfect game. 27 up, 27 down, no walks. One of 23 perfect games pitched in Major League Baseball history. One of 2 no-hitters pitched in the postseason. The other one by Roy Halladay, may he rest in peace, which he did, I believe, in 2009 or 2010 when he was pitching for the Phillies. But Don Larson was a pretty nondescript pitcher. Hadn't really done anything of note. Let's see here. Larson's was the only postseason game in which any team faced a minimum of 27 batters. until Kyle Hendricks and Aroldis Chapman of the Chicago Cubs combined to accomplish the feat in the decisive sixth game of the 2016 NLCS. But Don Larson did not really have a very productive career. The one thing that he did in his career was something that nobody has done before or since. October the 8th, 1956. Perfect game, 2-0. Mickey Mantle hit a home run off of Sal the Barber Magnin.
Wow.
And they called Sal the Barber, his nickname was, because he used to throw him high and tight. Throw a little chin music, okay? He'd get him in so tight that you could,
I remember
you got a
hearing
nice
about him,
close
yeah.
shave. But that's why he got the nickname the Barber. But, anything can happen in any of these World Series games. But that's something to make note of because, as I said before, there are several records that will never be broken. One of them is Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak.
Right.
I believe this is another one.
I concur with you on that, Chip. Hey, thanks for bringing that up. We're going to go, not to Jim yet. He's going to be after me because Nick set it up. Of course, we got to do VIP time. Johnny Mariano's in the control room with VIP time in 10 seconds.
It's a sad day to be a VIP, let me tell you. The Steelers lost on Sunday, so that hurts. But also the Yankees got eliminated. Very sad. I was almost in tears, and I don't think that everybody truly realizes, or maybe they do, but I've never felt more like my teams are headed to dark times than I did in the ALCS, watching the Yankees lose and the Steelers lose on the same screen. I had them in picture-in-picture. I watched them both lose. Dark times are ahead. Now, you guys don't care about my Yankees fandom, but rooting for the Pirates is tough right now. Rooting for the Steelers is a little rough right now. Rooting for the Penguins is still pretty easy, actually. They don't have any dark times ahead necessarily unless the veterans start to do poorly. But, okay, here's what I want to talk about, though. Because the World Series, for me, is going to be terrible. You've got the reputation-cheating Astros against Bryce Harper's arrogant bunch of power hitters. I really didn't know who I was going to root for in the World Series because, you know what? I don't like either of those teams. I didn't like a few of the teams in the postseason this year, but now I don't have a choice but to not like two teams. I always like one team that I can kind of get an out from, but this is just one of those cases where there's no out. I don't like either of these teams. Or I didn't, but let me explain to you something. So I always talk about in my life how things should evolve and things should get better and it's okay for things to change. And I would be a hypocrite if I sat here and I told you that you shouldn't be excited to watch the Astros and the Phillies in the World Series. The reason why I don't like the Astros is because they have a cheating reputation, and even though they got punished by the league, they still kept winning. And now they're in the World Series for the fourth time in 6 years. That's including the time that they won while they were allegedly cheating. But they've been a successful franchise regardless. Then you have the Phillies, and I've always not liked the Phillies because they signed Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper got a lot of money. And Bryce Harper, to me, has always been a me guy. He's always had to have things about him, and he's making the most money, where I never really thought he was that good of a player. I always thought that he was overrated for the amount of money that he received. But let's look at things a little bit more open now, and I'm kind of taking a page from my own book. Let's think about things in a way that's creating evolution for these teams and these players. The Houston Astros have not cheated. It's certain that they haven't been cheated. They got punished, and they're still producing talent. I think it's time to forgive the Astros. I don't like that they beat the Yankees, and that might be the only reason why I want them to lose is because they beat the Yankees. But, respect the team. The team is still good. They got a new manager, and they got a new general manager, and they lost draft picks, but they're still winning. Let them go. It's time to forgive them. I hate them because they beat the Yankees, but in terms of an organization, it's whatever. They're still good. I can't hold 2017 against them anymore. You can't after the continued perpetual success that they've had. Time to forgive the Astros.
And I'm ready to forgive Bryce Harper. I think that he's kind of stepped back and he's matured. He and Manny Machado have had a lot of maturity, and I mentioned the two together because they both signed large contracts in the same offseason, very late into the offseason to maximize their money. But it was good for the Phillies to do that. They weren't going to win immediately, but they built around Harper, and now they're going to the World Series as a low seed. They were, I think, the last seed in the National League, and they beat the NL Central champion Cardinals, and then a couple other teams to get here. So, but Bryce Harper, I've seen him kind of grow. I've seen Machado grow as well, but Harper especially, it doesn't really seem like it's a me thing with him anymore. It's not a bunch of anger. I used to hate that he argued with umpires the way he did and just the way he looked so disgruntled. I didn't appreciate it, but looking at him now, he seems to have grown and matured, and he is good. He is a good player. He hits for power, and that's important in this day and age, and I can't hold that against him anymore. This year, it just seemed like the Phillies, either they were so battened down that he couldn't be arrogant or anything early in the season, but it just hasn't seemed like it's me, Bryce Harper anymore. Now it's more like Bryce Harper is actually playing for the Phillies, and the Phillies as a team are well-rounded enough to make it into the playoffs and to make it now into the World Series. So I forgive him. It hasn't been all about him, and that's what I like about baseball. I mean, I'm fine with the flashy stuff and the power and the way the game's changing, and if I'm true in having that belief, then I've got to be okay with Bryce Harper. I'm just happy he's not a me guy anymore. He isn't seeming like a me guy. It seems like he's finally matured in a way where he's a leader and he's talented, and there's a team around him that can make a World Series push like this. I want the Phillies to win. I'm not going to make a prediction on who logistically should win because I have a bias. I really don't want the Astros to win just because they beat the Yankees, but I want the Phillies to win, and I'm okay with both of these teams. And I think, at least as a nation, as a baseball community, it's time to forgive the Astros, and I'm not going to call Bryce Harper overrated anymore. So that's my opinion for the week. Let's move on to whatever's next.
All right, I didn't hear a word that Nick said. That Smokin' Jim heard everything. These three guys appreciate it. Thanks, Nick. We're going to go to On Location with me right now. On Location, nothing really to talk about. We got things in the works potentially with boxing. We got a couple shows actually in April of 2023. Smokin' Jim and I are in demand. But we're going to go right to Jim Ellen Bogan. We got about 6 minutes to go on the show. And then Tim Davis brought up a point I wanted to bring up. What about that fake punt that Miami pulled on us?
Yeah.
That was one that was something. Yeah. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. Dave Cable said it looks like it's going smooth. Good job, Johnny, Marco, and Mike. All right, Jim. What else is on your mind, I guess, buddy?
Well, I would like to say that other than Franco's 50th anniversary, he was nice enough to do it on my birthday.
Wow. What an honor.
How about that, huh?
Yeah, you can't beat that. I guess you missed the play. You were celebrating your birthday, and it wasn't on TV here.
No, exactly.
Right?
No, we had to
But I
watch
heard
it.
on
If
the
the
radio.
game was played on Saturday, I listened to Jack Fleming do the call on the radio.
I heard it on the radio.
Yeah, and then Sunday.
I did too.
Sunday on a 24-hour tape delay, they played it Sunday.
They played it.
On Sunday afternoon at 1.
I still think Frenchie touched it, but he'll never say.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
I was there live.
You didn't see anything. He looked like Urkel growing up. He had glasses this thick, 3-inch glasses, and he played football.
No wonder he was so fast.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, we can't let Narduzzi get away here today without saying
Oh.
something.
Go ahead, bring it up. We're going to have a little open
Pat
discussion.
Narduzzi, you're playing the wrong quarterback.
That's right.
Great
playing
point.
the wrong guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's just so arrogant that unless it was his idea, he ain't doing it.
No, I'll tell you what, Narduzzi is, you know,
Good point.
he was tooting his own horn all the off season and the preseason, and I was just like, look, you know what, you know, last year everything lined up for you. You know, I don't think you're going to be a perennial power. What are they, 4-3 now?
Yeah, he used Pickett to do that. Now he wants to use that young running back to do that. But that kid can't carry the whole team.
No.
He needs somebody that can throw, and I don't know. He thinks because that guy transferred from Southern Cal, he gets special treatment.
Here's
or something.
one point I want to bring up. Now, wouldn't you say Kenny Pickett had a good year last year? And who was his offensive coordinator? Whipple.
Yeah.
Whipple and Narduzzi had a falling out, and I heard some things that Narduzzi didn't like what Whipple was doing, so he was going to fire him anyhow, so he just left.
He didn't, Mr. Whipple. He didn't.
But
squeeze
here's
the
the thing that I don't understand. They brought
Yeah,
in,
good point. That's an oldie but goodie.
They brought in Keenan Slovis because he was highly touted.
Yeah, USC.
But if he was so good, why did USC let him go?
Thank you.
That's my first thing. Next, you had Nick Patty, who was Kenny Pickett's understudy, who knows the team, knows the players, knows the offense. Why wasn't he starting this year? He earned the right to start, but they brought in Slovis because he was the shiny new toy.
But when I said that about Mason Rudolph, you guys all got on.
No, I didn't get on
Steelers
you.
be undefeated with Mason Rudolph right now.
The quarterback isn't the
disagree
problem with the
100%.
Steelers.
You know, I would be curious to see him with Pickett, Mason Rudolph, throwing to him.
Yeah.
That kid's
yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he is.
Mason Rudolph throws the best deep ball of the three quarterbacks the
agree.
Steelers have.
Preseason, a touchdown he threw to Pickens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That's why I have the timer. Johnny, look up in
Thanks,
here.
Johnny.
Come in here.
My man.
Yeah, but
We got technical difficulties. I agree with you. But one thing, I've never really liked Narduzzi as a coach in general, because I see games ebb and flow, and then when he should win some of these games, you can bet against them. Go with Smoking Jim. Bet against them.
he needs to go back to the Big 10 or Big 12 or whatever
He was
they
a
call
great
them now.
defensive coach, supposedly, and I only see it once in a while here.
Well,
I heard
you
that
know
once
what? He
before with
came into this year with the entire offensive line returning from last year, and they can't run the ball, except for one game where Abanikanda he ran for 390 million yards.
Right.
He came back with most of the defensive starters coming back. The defensive line was supposed to be the strong point. Not so much.
Right.
See, the game has changed so much. You can't, like for instance, take the tight end position. The best tight ends were college forwards in basketball.
Yeah.
Right.
They're at guys like Mike Evans that are multi-dimensional as opposed to the old standard tight end block and
Nice.
run a straight pattern.
There, we're going to be ending the show shortly. Chief said he was at the game when he was a kid, and Amy said she thought the Urkel comment was funny. Can you picture a skinny, smoking Jim with glasses 3 inches thick?
And two beautiful women on each arm.
No, four. All right, we got to go. Please stay Joey strong.